push it in.
Thank you, Ryan. Ryan, that's all me.
Today's service is recorded in front of a live studio audience.
Holy schmoly. There are people in the world. People really do exist and come here. Good morning, my friends. Good morning. Welcome back to Faith, U, C, C. Will you join me as we open this worship service together? in our call to worship, where I get to hear you rather than you just hearing me on the screen recite the part that you're supposed to be saying. Welcome to all who come to worship in our community of faith. Wherever you are with us in spirit.
There is power in being together.
We worship to laugh together, to grieve together, to inspire together. We worship our God as we build relationships with each other.
There is joy in being together.
We welcome the privilege of coming together again for worship, for fellowship, for inspiration. Together again, we can calm the anxieties of the day.
There is comfort in being together.
Welcome to our sanctuary and source of community, our building of connection and faith and hope and love. Welcome, friends. Amen.
Amen.
Will you join me? Let's rise on up. We need to dance a little bit. This is the perfect song, and we're singing. God dang it, we're going to sing. Because we haven't sang in 15 months, except maybe alone on your couch or something like that. Which, if you're like me, doesn't sound all that good. I need people around me. I heard dogs howling all over Dunedin when I was singing. Let's sing this beautiful song for this day. Gather us in, or regather us in. Please be seated. Woo! Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
And good morning to our live listening studio audience somewhere out there in the hinterlands. Which camera I'm looking into here, maybe you're all right there. A special welcome to all of our friends who are online with us. It's a delight whether you're here or whether you're there or somewhere else. Wherever you are here. So welcome, friends. Special welcome to any visitors we have with us, whether online or in person here, in this awesome looking crowd. We are delighted to have you here this day. If you are visiting with us, please remember to sign our friendship book, which we keep on the table out in the gathering space, so we can keep you apprised of the many, many, many happenings that are soon going to start popping around here, and that already are. And if you're online with us, go ahead and send a note to our office at office@faithucc.org, and we'll get you on our mailing list. Can we just breathe for a moment? It's kind of the theme of this service. It's been a weird 15 months, my friends. It has been. I was going to do the math and try and figure out, like in Rent, they have that song, 500, 25,000. I was going to do the math, but it's beyond me. I have to take my shoes off, and I didn't want to do that, so. But it's been a long time. It's been a long time. It's been a lonely time here. And it's been a lonely time for all of you as well. I know that. A little different coming back, but it feels really, really good. And I was going to say, you could wear your pajamas. I mean, that's okay. Who here, let's do a poll, who here was watching those services in their pajamas? Come on in. All right. I was leading them in my pajamas, so there. I do have a lament, though. I have to lament something. Today is the first day, almost in 15 months, I had to put on pants. So. Don't take that wrong. I had shorts on, but, I'm not giving up the sandals, though. I'm sorry, folks. It's the new me. Kind of like my haircut. Many of you have been commenting on my haircut, saying, holy moly, did you get run over by a lawnmower? So now I
soft with those sandals.
no, but there was definitely a murder. A murder happened on this haircut. And I think I walked into the salon, and it was a new salon. I hadn't been there before. And she said, well, what do you think? My stylist. And I said, well, it looks nice and clean. And I think what she heard is, well, I'm joining the Marines. And she pulled out these clippers like I've never seen before. Put this extender. You ever seen an extender go on clippers? Because she said I had a mullet. And she just proceeded to shorn me like a sheep. I was like, oh my God. I walked out there, I looked in the car mirror. I'm like, what happened? My hair was murdered. It'll come back. Bigger problems in the world, right? So great to see all of you. It really is a delight to be back here with you. And I do want to say happy Pride, everyone. Happy Pride. I don't think there's a Pride parade this year, but there's lots of Pride activities going on down in St. Pete, I think each weekend. So go to the Pride website and you can see, I think they're doing something every single weekend throughout the month. So, hit some of those. We're going to do a special Pride themed service here on the 27th, I think it is. So we've got some good stuff in store, but I just want to say a happy Pride. We're also going to do a new member themed service on the 20th. We're going to welcome, there's a lot of new faces here. There's people I've talked to on the phone that I've never even met that I feel like I'm friends with. Johanna Perez, I'm looking at you. So we want to welcome everybody to this place. I mean, churches struggle. A lot of churches shut down and they're not coming back. Some churches kept gathering and they'd shut down, and they'd gather and they'd shut down. We just kept plugging along online. And I think it was the smart thing to do in the end. And really, when you look at it, we took in 25 to 30 new members. Many of you right here today. And that is just awesome. So I just want to say to all of you who have joined us in the last year, 15 months, welcome, welcome, welcome. And we're going to celebrate you on the 20th. I want to make a quick announcement here from our Journeys group, our LGBT Journeys group. I'm just going to read what Debbie Phillips wrote to me. Many of you are familiar with the tragic shooting event at the Pulse nightclub in Orlando that took the lives of 49 young souls. June 12th marks that somber 5-year anniversary. So they are hosting an event at the Church of the Good Samaritans. Our friends at Good Samaritan have offered their labyrinth as a space, really cool place. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. As a space to hold a memorial. The event will take place at 10 a.m. next Saturday, June 12th. If you have any questions, please reach out to Debbie Phillips. And I'll make sure that's in the newsletter this week so you can have all the information if you want to reach out and attend that service. But Pulse, crazy. Our peace cranes, remember the peace cranes we had here? For anyone who wasn't in here, we had these 2 bundles of peace cranes, 1,000 each, mirrored on the story of Sadako in Hiroshima, who made these peace cranes as a gesture of prayer and hope. And we had 2 bundles of them, and Don Miller and Marge Miller drove them last week to the Pulse Memorial, where they are going to hang. So that's pretty powerful. This is a testament of hope and prayers from this community to a community that was shattered. So that's pretty cool. Now we need to get working on the next 1,000 peace cranes. So Don, fire up your fingers. We got work to do. Hey, I forgot to put them out, but I'll put them out right after the service. Now we're back at this. We need greeters, and we need readers, and we need flower donators. So there's going to be sign-up sheets on the clipboards in the little rotund spinny thingy in the gathering space. So you can find them there after the service. If I forget, just come grab me and say, where are those sheets? I want to sign up. Quick concern, I want to hold Ginny. So Ginny and your son Vince in our hearts and prayers. We had a moment here out in the garden where we prayed with little Princess, who was Vince's companion for 18 years, Ginny's companion, little golden retriever, 14 years old, and they had to take her into the vet. She just didn't have quality of life, and they had to let her go. I know how hard that is. I had to do that with a golden retriever at 14 years old as well, named Shannon. So I know how hard that is. So we're thinking about you and Vince and your family this day. Do we have any other concerns anyone would like to lift up this day? Because now you don't have to type them in on Facebook. You can just share them with the community now. It's much easier this way, isn't it? Yes, Jana.
Bud, who is still he's still dealing with cancer, big time.
Hold Bud in our hearts and prayers. Thanks.
And Jerry, who is in treatment.
Bud and Jerry. You got it, Jana. Any other prayer concerns you'd like to lift up? I see it way in the back. Is that Lori?
Yeah. Victor's dad, Nate, is in the hospital, recovering from a really bad infection in his leg.
A really bad infection?
Yeah.
Victor, we hold Nate and you and all of you in heart and prayer. Absolutely. Any other concerns anyone would like to lift up? Hey, Bryn?
Not from you. Just a few days ago, I saw that in China they're putting Muslims in concentration camps.
In China, they're putting Muslims in concentration camps. That is something to lift up in our prayers. Thanks for bringing that to us, Bryn. Absolutely. For all the injustice in the world, we lift up in our prayers. Yeah?
I actually have 2, but they're joys and concerns.
Well, you can shuffle us into the joys. That's okay.
They're joys and concerns. My neighbor of 28 years, Eileen Herfer, passed away a week ago.
Eileen?
Eileen, and prayers for her family, but she was 92 years old. And if anybody embodied walking the walk and talking the talk, it was Miss Eileen.
Miss Eileen.
We all called her. And my high school English teacher, who was known for any fragment sentence was an automatic pass.
Your high school English teacher.
But he taught from 1948 to 2006. Passed away this past week. An inspiration to 3 generations of students.
So you've lost two folks very close to you. We hold you and their families in our hearts and prayers. Got it, Tammy. Thanks. And it sounds like a joy in there as well. So let's shuffle in.
103 and 95?
That's a good long life, right? And of course, in concerns, during this last 15 months, we lost 2 folks here. We lost Pat Brand, and we lost our beloved Bob Sargent, both of whom were just such a part of this place. I miss looking out and seeing Pat leaning against the wall over there. She told me that she does that so she can sleep during the sermons. She told me that over lunch. And I miss Bob staring at me. Reverend Bob. I miss them both. And Pat, you're always in our hearts and prayers in this time. So I know it must be a bit hard being back here without him. I know that. So we all miss him. How about some joys? We got some joys. We're back. That's a joy. We're online. That's a joy. We got a bistro section in the back now. Okay, I just want to say this does not give you a license to be all rowdy back there just because you're sitting at those bar top tables, And we don't have any servers for you back there, so don't thinking you got the prime seats. So we got a bistro section. That's a section. That's a joy. Any other joys you'd like to share this day? Yeah, Debbie.
We after months of being in two separate rehabs, my Uncle Harold and my mom's best friend, Gene Schaefer, are both home. Happy in their
Uncle
house.
Harold, Gene Schaefer. Excellent.
Yeah,
Thanks, Debbie.
After months of praying, thank you.
You bet. That's what we do here. Jana.
Hey, I got a new granddaughter.
Well, Lassie, congratulations, Jana. That's a huge change since you last been here. Jana's been out in California taking care of this little granddaughter, and yeah, so congratulations. Other joys, yeah, Fran?
I just want to thank the team that put together the renovations in here, the donation for the floor, which is fabulous, and for all the people who contributed, and to the congregation for giving us the $10,000 to make all this happen.
Yeah. Thank you. And for anyone that hasn't been here, doesn't know, this is Fran Mitchell, our moderator of this church, leading us through. Sitting next to Ivan, who was our moderator when we broke for all these months. But,
Behind you.
yeah. Oh, hey, Carl. How could I forget about Carl?
Well, I just want to give thanks for Mike, who led us through the wilderness and it brought us back together and did such a fantastic job. The team over here that kept us singing. Thank you so much for bringing us through.
Thank you. Amazing that we were able to pull off what we pulled off. We're really learning on the fly. Michelle, your voice carried us almost every week. I mean, and Espy and Ginny and Flew. It was fantastic. Michael and Carolyn, can't thank you enough. And Gary, I spoke about Gary last week. Where's Gary? He's in here somewhere. He's supposed to be sitting behind me. For the last 15 months, Gary's been my wingman right behind me, answering the door when people come to say, "Are you open?" and all that stuff. And I feel like he should just be up here, man. I'm sorry. I can't do this alone, Gary. Go ahead, Amy.
I have enjoyed, our son graduated from college, and we were actually able to see him graduating for commencement. We had a commencement. And even better, he got a job at Tampa Bay Arts and Education Channel in Tampa.
Cool.
So we're really grateful that he got a job.
Yeah. Amy's son graduated college, got a job, and they were able to be there to celebrate with him, which is more than a lot of folks can say over the last 15 months. So, you feel like we're back, folks? I mean, you feel like there's a light at the end of the tunnel with this thing? Yeah, I do too. Go ahead, Marge.
We have two grandsons who graduated college, one with his bachelor's, one with a master's, and we're going to Texas next week to celebrate with them in person.
Awesome. That's great. I love hearing that people are out doing this again. It's so good to hear this. And hey, I do just want to say, we can just do this and this can be the service. I mean, this is okay with me. It's just so nice to have people to talk with again, right? I do want to say, Fran said it, but the folks that worked on this space team, I mean, they pulled this together really fast. They did a fantastic job. It was a lot of meetings and just picking things out. Jeff Kinnear here in 2 days put up a railing for us, welded it, molded it, painted it, and put it up. We finally have a railing outside people can grab onto as they come up. That is a huge deal. Space team, Jeff, I mean, everybody, leadership team, thank you, thank you, thank you. You have just, I feel like I'm giving an Oscar speech. You have just carried us through. So your guidance, your wisdom, your counsel, thank you. I think it's time to journey ever deeper into this service together, don't you? Yes. Although I could do this all day. My friends, I invite you just to take a deep breath. And we can do that now. You close your eyes and just feel community again. Just breathe it into your heart. Sense of togetherness. Where 2 or 3 are gathered, we meet the transformation of Christ in our midst and always in one another. Breathe that in. God, did we need that? Was that Charlotte? Oh my. You are something else, kiddo. You've got timing. I love having kids in worship with us. I love it. Because you just don't know what's going to happen. My friends, let's journey ever deeper into this time of worship together.
The artist of our natural world. Thanks be to the conductor of the symphony of the counterpoint of birdsong, the applause of thunder, the tip-tap-toeing of raindrops. Thanks be to the poet who crafts the exuberance of a dog's delight, the playful murmuring of breezes, the meaningful dance of the bees. Thanks be to the choreographer of the graceful dance of the gazelle, the pirouette of the tree's canopy, the cavorting of the summer surf. Thanks be to the sculptor of mountainous crags, the hollows of ravines, waving prairies and welcoming valleys. Thanks be to the painter who decorates with the vivid colors of sunrise, the flirtatious flurry of flowers, the meandering meadows' dew. Thanks be to the eternal energy, the spirit of life.
The Lord took hold of me, and I was carried away by the Spirit of the Lord to a valley filled with bones. He led me all around among the bones that covered the valley floor. They were scattered everywhere across the ground and were completely dried out. Then he asked me, "Son of man, can these bones become living people again?" "O sovereign Lord," I replied, "you alone know the answer to that." Then he said to me, "Speak a prophetic message to these bones and say, 'Dry bones, listen to the word of the Lord. This is what the sovereign Lord says. Look, I am going to put breath into you and make you live again. I will put flesh and muscles on you and cover you with skin. I will put breath into you and you will come to life. Then you will know that I am the Lord." So I spoke this message just as he told me. Suddenly, as I spoke, there was a rattling noise all across the valley. The bones of each body came together and attached themselves as complete skeletons. Then as I watched, muscles and flesh formed over the bones. The skin formed to cover their bodies, but they still had no breath in them. Then he said to me, "Speak a prophetic message to the winds, Son of Man. Speak a prophetic message and say, 'This is what the sovereign Lord says. Come, O breath from the four winds, breathe into these dead bodies so they may live again.' So I spoke the message as he commanded me, and breath came into their bodies. They all came to life and stood up on their feet, a great army. Then he said to me, Son of man, these bones represent the people of Israel. They are saying we have become old, dry bones. All hope is gone. Our nation is finished. Therefore prophesy to them and say, this is what the sovereign Lord says. O my people, I will open your graves of exile and cause you to rise again. Then I will bring you back to the land of Israel. When this happens, O my people, you will know that I am the Lord. I will put my spirit in you, and you will live again, and return home to your own land. Then you will know that I, the Lord, have spoken, and I have done what I said. Yes, the Lord has spoken.
Rise again. Come to life. Or better said for us today, come back to life. Breathe in, rise again, come back to life. Say that with me. Say it with me. Breathe in.
Breathe in.
Rise again.
Rise again.
Come back to life.
Come back to life.
It feels great to say, doesn't it? I was thinking all week of a fitting scripture text that could encapsulate the immense meaning and power of this day, one that could express the depths of emotions that we've been holding as to where we've been these last 15 months and where we are today as we come together again in this setting for the first time in a long time, and of course as to where we're going as we start to feel our way and live into a new normal. A new normal, I hope, God, I hope is emerging in what is called a post-pandemic time, right? It was this text from Ezekiel that came quickly to my mind. And thank God there was an incredibly moving piece by the work of the people that put that together, that used it was in such a beautiful and meaningful way. Could you not listen to her all day? She could come up to you and tell you, I'm gonna punch you in the gut. And you'd be like, okay. That voice. Thank God for that website, because it has saved us for the last 15 months with some great stuff. Back to Ezekiel. This story, after all, speaks of the heart of what I think a lot of people have been feeling. A lot of you, a lot of me, a lot of you, these last 15 months. Feelings of disconnection, of distancing, and isolation, where fear and anxiety and maybe even spiritlessness seem to push away all the joy of life at times. Did you feel that? No, I did. Many of you I know from conversations might have felt like those lifeless, dry bones Ezekiel dreams up in this vision. And I know from the perspective of the church, our church, it often at times felt the same way. It felt empty and alone and fearful. I mean, sure, we kept doing our work, but at times it just kind of felt sedated, like it had been missing its heartbeat. Sunday mornings are the heartbeat of this space. Sunday mornings are community. Sunday mornings are fuel for the rest of the week and the rest of the work. And they are best when they happen together, when we can come together to celebrate the awesome mystery of God and lift up all the joys and concerns that we hold together. And to hear a child say, no, I'm not going to center together. And for 15 months, from March 15th, think of that, 2020, 20 until now, it felt at times as though Ezekiel's vision of dry bones was just way too dang close to home. The church, after all, the walls, the space itself, even the sanctuary, well, they are the bones. And what they were missing was you. Was you. Because you are the heartbeat and the spirit that brings life to the church. Without all of you, we were bones lying still. But now with you back and a renewed sense of spirit that is just pervading these walls, well, we're coming back to life, just like those dry bones. That is what today means to me. You see, what Ezekiel was talking about was his own community at the time he lived. It was a dream of a restored community, much like we have been dreaming about. Now, his beloved Jerusalem during his life was sacked and destroyed by the Babylonian Empire that swept into power and was busy quickly conquering cities and foreign lands and capitals. Jerusalem was one such city, and they crushed it. And they exiled many of the people as slaves to their own lands. Ezekiel then, in this vision, he's glimpsing the future, a future that will see a spiritless, dried up, and for all accounts and purposes, dead community, reanimated, respirited, and risen up to be alive, and to live again, to emerge again, and to thrive. He dreamed of those bones lying in that valley, and God comes and tells him, he says, prophecy to them. Tell them that they will live again, and then as he prophesies, God will cause breath to come into them, to enter them, and they shall live again. So Ezekiel does that. He prophesies to them, and the breath of God, in Hebrew it's ruah, which can mean breath or wind or spirit. The spirit enters them, and they rise up to live again, to breathe again, to be community again. The bones are just the structure. It's the breath of the Spirit of God and the people that brings them back to life. The Spirit caused them to rise. They were a rising community. And I think the same applies to us today as well, for we are a rising community as we animate these walls with the Spirit of God and bring this place back to life. Say it again with me. Breathe in.
Breathe in.
Rise again.
Rise again.
Come back to life.
Come back to life.
Speaking of rising, I just want to shift for a moment. I want to talk about an artist. It's a bit of a shift, but we'll go back to Ezekiel. You know, it's interesting, thinking back to shortly prior to March of last year, might have been a couple months, in January, February, we've been starting to talk about adding some color, some pop to the gathering space and especially to the sanctuary. And I shared an image with the leadership team of a painting done by a favorite artist of mine, a Chinese artist named Hu Qi. It's spelled He-Qi, H-I-Q-E, and I've been calling him He-Qi for the longest time, but lo and behold, I was wrong. I guess I need to brush up on my Mandarin, because it's Hu Qi. It's on the screen up top. Anyway, Hu Qi was born in 1951, somewhere around there, and he grew up in communist China under Chairman Mao. He survived the Chinese Cultural Revolution of the 1960s that was orchestrated by Mao, which was geared towards this youth rising up in a sort of cult of personality. Doesn't that sound familiar? And all sorts of changes were afoot. People were following this cult of personality figure. Whew. But Hu Qi didn't want to do that. So he taught himself to paint. Painting gave him a way to deal with what was going on, and it also helped him not languish in the labor camps, because that's where they were pushing a lot of the Chinese youth, was to these labor camps to work. And older Chinese people pushing them into the labor camps to work. So he taught himself to paint, so you know what he could paint? Pictures of Chairman Mao. You ever seen, they're hung all over the place, all over the place. And they had people that would paint, and he became one of them, and it kept him out of the camps, probably saved his life. And it was during this time when he was painting these images of Chairman Mao that he discovered an image in a magazine of Raphael's Madonna and Child. Beautiful painting. If you've ever seen it, go home and IHOP it after the service or Google it, and you can see it then. It's beautiful. And he discovered Western art, and he fell in love with it. And he began painting copies of that painting at night. So he would do Mao all day, and he'd go home and paint Madonna and Child at night under the cover of darkness. That could have been seen as a seditious act. He became Christian. He earned a doctorate in religious art, and he moved to the United States in 2004, where he still resides to this day. He began fusing East and West in his paintings with all sorts of religious imagery and scenes, including the one that now hangs on our wall, called the Risen Lord. Now, I have loved this artist since discovering him back in seminary, and I floated the idea of a new cross image. If you look closely, for the front here, and I showed the painting to a whole bunch of people here, and everybody just fell in love with it. I mean, it's hard not to, right? I mean, its colors, its symbolism, its richness, its vibrancy, its inclusion, and its theological vision of rising. All of this and more was just so beautiful, and it became clear that this would be the perfect piece to showcase our community, which I believe is the same, rich and vibrant and inclusive and beautiful. And now, today, also rising. Now, we didn't know it at the time, but that symbolism of rising, because we bought this before the pandemic, that symbolism of rising would become eerily prophetic. We ordered it before we were ever introduced to our friend named COVID-19. So when we ordered this print, it was really for its beauty, but we never would have guessed, all these months later, that its real power would lie for us in what it symbolizes, like the dry bones, the rising back to life. This is the perfect image for us in this time. Perfect image for us in this time. This is the perfect image to symbolize the return of all of you, the Spirit, to restore abundance and richness to these bones and these walls. Now, I remember the first time I encountered, or perhaps better said, was encountered by this painting. I was blown away by its beauty and the artist's use of color. I mean, look at that. And shape and the blending of differing global traditions. One commentator described this style as Chagall meets Matisse meets Picasso meets the East. Energetic, vibrant, energetic, breathtaking, biblical, humorous, whole world art. End quote. And it is that. It is that. But it's so much more than just something beautiful to look at. It symbolizes so much more. I mean, at its most basic, it stands as a cross, right? Stands as a cross, but not your typical cross that can just kind of be stark and plain, or one that all too often is holding the limp, dead, you've seen them, body of Jesus on it, right? In crucifix form, especially all of you that were raised Catholic. I'm sure you had one right over you. Rather, this cross tells us something different. Different that his favorite pastor of mine, Bill Coffin, once said, is that you can kill God's love, but you can't keep it dead and buried. You can kill God's love, but you can't keep it dead and buried. This is a cross of triumph, of overcoming all the evil of the world that can be thrown our way. This cross reminds us that we too, like Christ long ago, will rise from the evil times, that we will persevere in the difficult times, that we will triumph even in the most challenging of times. But the cool thing is here, it's not just a cross. It's not just a cross. For if you look around that central image, you'll see of the risen Lord, you'll see these different themes, these human themes that were playing out then and that still play out today. It's the contemporaneousness. Is that even a word? The contemporaneousness of the painting. Its iconography is rich. I mean, in the upper left corner, you'll see a figure holding a bag of money, likely alluding to Judas, but is stared at. If you look at the stare, those other two figures are giving this Judas figure, countering the system of greed with a glance of the Jesus way. It's not about greed. In the lower right corner, three women, one with a vessel and one with a kind of a gentle flame, perhaps going to the tomb. They represent a vision of compassion as they were going to anoint the body of Jesus. A figure in the lower corner holds what looks like a net. It's a yellow, kind of looks like a dagger, but I think I've determined it's a net, a symbol of community and togetherness, shared around a vision of love of God. And then in the other that last upper corner, a figure points skyward, while another holds their hands to their chest, while another looks down at the earth, perhaps as a symbol of the kingdom of God being around us, within us, and everywhere. If we just can see it. And then at the bottom, within the image of Jesus, are the symbols of communion, representing the importance of hospitality, something that was so important to Jesus in his life, and sharing, true hallmarks of the Jesus way in the kingdom of God. This painting is a cross, but it's so much more. It's an image that together, grounded in the Jesus way and sacred community, infused with this new and renewing spirit, we too can triumph over all that life throws our way. I love this image, love it. And I hope it comes to be seen as a powerful symbol of who we are together, especially in these new days upon us, as we too, like the risen Lord, rise again. Breathe in, rise again, come back to life. Breathe in, rise again, come back to life. May these words stand as a mantra for us, not just as we return to life here at Faith UCC, but really for all moments of life overall. Breathe in, rise again, come back to life. Ezekiel's dry bones rose again, came back to new life with a new sense of spirit. Hachi rose again after a difficult time in China with a new creative spirit. Jesus rose again after the greatest of evils with a transcendent spirit, and he birthed a new way of being with his spirit in a way that has traveled long and far to arrive right where we are as a community that's rising again into the light of a new day and a new time. I'm so happy to be back among you. I am so happy to be back among you. We have a lot of acquainting. We have a lot of reacquainting to do, right? But together, both with us here and with our friends in front of me here online, we are going to thrive into this new normal of an emerging future. We're going to rise in new ways, for we are a rising community. Today is evidence of that. I wish you the happiest of risings, my friends, again and again and again, no matter what life throws at you. You will rise again. You will rise. Peace be with you. And God, I've missed you. Amen. are on the screen. Ground of all being, mother of life, father of the universe, your name is sacred beyond speaking. May we know your presence. May your longings be our longing, heart and action. May there be food for the human family today and for the whole earth community. Forgive us the falseness of what we have done as we forgive those who are untrue to us. Do not forsake us in our time of conflict, but lead us into new beginnings. For the light of life, the vitality of life, and the glory of life are yours, now and forever. Amen. Well, my friends, we made it. We made it. It's so good to be back with you again. I hope that you have a great time as we head on out of this service. After we sing, of course, a song I know so many of you have been missing. I hope you'll head out and greet a new friend, make a new friend, greet an old friend, meet someone you've never seen before. I was about to say give a hug. We're not quite there yet, although some of you are, I know that. Be mindful of one another's space. And, we originally said we'd do hospitality outside, but it's so hot out there. So we're going to have a combination of places. You got the back room, you got the bistro tables, you got the gathering space, and of course you always have the patio. There's shade out there. We'll get the umbrellas up so you can enjoy a time of shade. To our friends online, we celebrate with you this day as well. We miss your presence here, but we're so delighted that you are out there with us in heart and spirit. Again, wherever you are here, and I hope you know that, and I hope you feel the love from this community to you right through your screens. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Yeah. Hey, if you were so moved by this service, I know a lot of you have gone online with your giving, and you can always do that. It's an easy way to give. Just it's pulled out of your account, I think, and Vanco and PayPal. But you can always go to our website. We have a give link there. We're not doing a collection plate pass, at least for now, just to kind of ease back into this slowly, cautiously. But we will have plates available if you got a big lump of money in your pocket. Maybe you were at the casino last night or something. You got lucky, and you're just like, I got to get rid of this cash. It's just bulging out. We'll have plates on the 4 bistro tables back there. Someone's going to come up and get them in just a moment as we sing. So as I always like to say, thank you. Your generosity the past 15 months was just incredible. Absolutely incredible. This place never, ever let up in your giving. And I just can't thank you enough. I mean, it's been amazing. But as I always like to say at the same time, please be generous in our morning offering. But hey, we got one more order of business that I think most of you just came here for this moment, didn't you? Be honest. Mike's sermon, We want to sing Let There Be Peace on Earth. Let it begin with us. Let's rise up. Body, spirit, at home, in your living room, in your jammies, with your coffee. Put your coffee and your donuts down and rise on up and join us in singing a song that I know we have missed. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with us.
That was meant to
Go in peace, everyone. Love one another. Oh, and remember to take your name tags with you and bring them back next week. Peace be with you all. Amen. Welcome back. Welcome back. We'll see you soon, our community at home. Peace be with you.
Yeah,